Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I have another Batman issue to review and I hope you enjoy. Batman issue 194. This issue was published June 6th, 1967 with a cover date of August 2nd, 1967. There are two stories under the cover this time. Both are written by Garner Fox, penciled by Sheldon Moldoff, inked by Joe Gala. Let's talk about the cover first because this comic cover reminds me of a Hulk comic cover. I saw online someone mention that this cover is the most Marvel-esque DC cover, and I agree. That's what got me to pick it up and read it. The cover was done by Carmine Infantino. Actually, really fast because I just learned this or heard about this week. Some people don't like having words on the comic cover to read, like speech bubbles or something, but I actually love that when comics do that. The first story is called The Blockbuster Goes Bat-Mad. We open with the new doctor being welcomed into the Wayne Foundation when Blockbuster shows up. At first, the new doc is scared, but is told Blockbuster got the hate knocked out of him in the last appearance, and now is just a gentle giant working there. He even buys his co-workers gifts to show his love. One little thing. When he sees Batman, he goes mad, screaming and destroying anything that reminds him of his old enemy. In other words, he goes bat-mad, like the title says. Anyway, this happens and Blockbuster busts out of a building and goes on a rampage. Batman gets the call from Commissioner Gordon and is on the hunt for Blockbuster in Gotham, along with Robin and Dick Grayson. When Batman finds Blockbuster, he tries to talk him down as the Caped Crusader. It doesn't work. Batman then reveals that he's really Bruce Wayne because Wayne saved Blockbuster's life years ago before Mark Desmond became Blockbuster. Reading this, I think it's a big deal that Batman reveals his identity just like that to try and stop Blockbuster. Yeah, Batman revealed himself because he's never defeated Blockbuster in one-on-one combat before, thinking Blockbuster seeing his old friend would calm him down and have Blockbuster start to even like Batman. But instead, it causes Blockbuster to hate Batman even more, especially since Batman tried using his voice mimicry to sound like Blockbuster's brother, but that idea backfires too. In his story, Robin tries to fight the villain but gets slapped once by Blockbuster and is done with the fight. I point this out because nowadays Blockbuster is classified as a Nightwing villain. The hero Dick Grayson becomes as an adult. But here he doesn't even stand up to Blockbuster. Time to go over some backstory of Blockbuster. This comic is Blockbuster's 5th appearance. He first appeared as a Batman villain, then he fought the Justice League with Solomon Grundy for a 2-issue storyline, and now he's back. The end of the story had Blockbuster return to the sand trap he almost died in, and no one saves him, but he gets out by himself now. That sets Blockbuster off like never before. I love how the change in his fear to rage is described in the caption box in this panel. I want to talk about the weird way everything gets fixed in this story. Batman uses a mask to look like Solomon Grundy, and then, looking like how he normally does as Batman, saves Blockbuster from the sand. Yeah, the sand trap Blockbuster puts himself in is the same one he almost died in as Mark Desmond. In the end, Blockbuster forgets about Batman's unmasking. He believes now that Batman is his old friend Solomon Grundy. I guess Blockbuster and Grundy became friends while fighting the Justice League. I haven't read those 2 issues, but anyway. The last panel has Batman. I describe it as winking to the audience. Thinking about this story more and more, I really like Blockbuster. He treats everyone he meets as his friends and is usually a gentle giant. He reminds me of a more settled Amygdala in here. And that's the story. Blockbuster Goes Bat-Mad. Considering this is the first time I've read a story with the classic Blockbuster in it, I was surprised at how much I learned. His origin, his full history. It was fun. A little bit of a simple story, but still fun. Before we go to the next story, here is an ad for the Flash issue 172. The next story is titled The Problem of the Proxy Paintings. A bunch of mystery analysts of Gotham get together for a game night every now and then, and the owner of the house they play at just realized that his fake paintings he hangs up in his hall are real paintings that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Batman and others like Commissioner Gordon come up with theories about it. Side note, after the last comic issue I reviewed, wouldn't it have been cool for this district attorney to have been the old school comic DA Steve Malone from Detective Comics? Actually, D.A. Dainton here returned a few times in DC Comics. He returned once in a Superman comic even. Anyway, later, 3 thugs break into Martin Tellman's house to steal those paintings. After Batman stops them, they theorize that someone close to Tellman must be responsible for the robbery, since suddenly this crime happens right when the owner discovers that the paintings are real, even though he believed he bought the fake ones. Yet, they've been hanging up in his mansion for months. The armchair detectives, that hilariously includes Batman, calling him an armchair detective. Anyway, they deduce that the mastermind of the robbery is Burleson, the guy who dealt with the fake paintings by being the one who was supposed to sell them to him or something. It was a little bit confusing even for me. Well, to catch this guy, Batman thinks ahead of time and placed the paintings on the ground when they meet Burleson, so that Burleson would stand in front of the sprinklers to grab the paintings, and Batman stomps down on the ground. The sprinklers pop up and distract Burleson to punch him out. To give Burleson credit, he had a way to know automatically if the thugs were real, because Batman and two of the detectives disguised themselves with makeup to look like the thugs that Burleson hired to steal those real paintings. He found out automatically that these guys were fake because he told them to leave the painting that only cost $1,000, and Batman and the others brought that cheap painting in the bag with them. One thing I liked here was Batman using his voice mimic skills to trick Burleson and his makeup skills to look like the criminals. There's not much else. Honestly, this story was pretty boring compared to the first one, and even compared to other Batman issues I've read. Letter page. Yes, we got a letter page to talk about for this comic. The first one is long and at first praises the last Penguin story and says Penguin is their favorite Batman villain, then complains about the camp of the stories like Batman having a Batbrella. The writer says that camp is on its way out. The editor replies saying he goes with the trends. Also, that writer said that the Penguin hadn't acted evil in a while. Oh well. The next writer hated the story, saying it was too ridiculous with robot umbrellas and Batman's umbrellas. He hopes to never see the Penguin ever again. Wow. All of these letters are referring to Batman issue 190, which just had one story under the cover. Another writer liked the story because the Bob Kane's art and Penguin's unique gimmick umbrellas. The next fan writes how he wants the comics to be different from the 60s show. The last thing on here is interesting. It's specific comments about DC as a whole and Batman. 1. A Batman that's camp can never be champ. Yeah, I guess that was a saying. I remember that being a saying, learning about the history of Batman around the time of the Adam West show. Anyway, number 2, no more split cover logos. That I agree with 110%. Those always bothered me, even as a kid. Number 3, less balloons and color blurbs on the front covers. Yes, I disagree with this one a lot, just like I said at the start of the video. I like comic covers that you have to read more than just the issue number on. Now, this page, I must have forgotten that this was a thing back then. This page is titled Direct Current. It's a promotion of other DC published comics at the time. Marvel Comics at the time had something like this too. Except it was in their letter pages. This is a completely different page in the comic. There is also an ad that I've never seen before in it, yet it has one of Superman promoting an amusement park. And here's an ad for Brave and the Bold, issue 73. And an ad for the 80-page Jimmy Olsen comic, which I think is a collection of 5 past comics under a new cover. Like I said at the start, the cover stood out to me, but under the cover, a really good story if you're like me and enjoy pre-crisis DC Earth stuff. Specifically, this was written in the Silver Age of comics. And with that said, I thank you for watching.